We're used to getting pretty much everything on demand, right? Food delivery, movies, you name it. But what happens when that I want it now expectation meets something a little more essential? Like, say, the pipes inside your walls. Today, we're going to dig into how the world of home repair is making a huge pivot to a 24/7 model, all to keep up with our on demand lives.
Okay, picture this. It's 2 a.m. You are sound asleep, and suddenly you're jolted awake. It's not a nightmare. It is a very real, very wet disaster that's happening in your house right now. What do? What's your very first move? Your answer to that question is really at the heart of this huge shift we're seeing in home services.
So let's walk through this scenario because it's way more common than you think, and these things, they never, ever happen at a convenient time. That feeling of just sheer helplessness can be pretty overwhelming. It always starts small, doesn't it? Just a faint little drip, drip, drip. You might even try to just roll over and ignore it, hoping it's just in your head. But, of course, it doesn't go away. In fact, that little drip starts to get louder, turning into a steady drumming sound. And that's when that sinking feeling in your stomach really kicks in. And then you see it. You flip on the light, and there's a puddle on the floor. And it's not staying a puddle. It's growing, spreading fast, seeping into your floors, and creeping toward your furniture. The problem is escalating, and it's escalating quickly. And here's the absolute worst part of it all. It's happening when the entire world seems to be asleep. Any traditional help you might call is simply not available. And this brings us right to the core of the problem. There is this massive disconnect, this gap between when emergencies happen and when you can actually get someone to help you. Look at this. It's so simple, but it says everything. Disasters don't care that it's 5 p.m. on a Friday. They happen at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, on Christmas morning, whenever. But the standard business model for fixing them has always been stuck in this 9 to 5, Monday to Friday world. That gap in between, that's where the real damage, the really costly damage, happens. So how is the industry actually responding to this? Well, let's look at a real-world example. We're talking about a plumbing company out in Highland Park, Illinois, that decided to tackle this problem head-on by making their services available around the clock. Now, their focus isn't on routine stuff like a drippy faucet. It's on the true panic-inducing emergencies. We're talking catastrophic failures, burst pipes, major supply line breaks, the kind of issues that can rack up thousands of dollars in damages in just a few hours. And it's not just homes. This kind of thing can be devastating for small businesses, too. And here, this is the proof of the impact. This quote from a homeowner, it's more than just a 5-star review. It's a story of a disaster that didn't happen. Instead of waking up to a completely flooded house, they had a fix in just a few hours. That is the power of closing that after-hours gap. This really gets to the heart of why a 24/7 model is so valuable. It's not just about convenience. It's about damage control. It's about mitigation. When you break it down, the process is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you get a rapid dispatch. An expert is on their way, fast. That helps stop the primary crisis, right? The flood itself. But and this is so crucial, it also prevents a whole cascade of secondary problems from ever starting. So, for example, one of the biggest secondary issues is mold. If water sits for even 24 or 48 hours, you can get serious mold growth. And that is not only super expensive to fix, but it can cause real health problems. An immediate response just cuts that risk right off at the knees. So you can see how this 24/7 availability is quickly becoming more than just some premium add-on. In a crowded market, this is becoming the new standard. It's a huge differentiator, and frankly, it's what customers are now starting to expect. And it's not just about being available, it's about having the right tools for the job no matter what time it is. This means having specialized gear ready to go, like advanced hydrojetting systems that can clear out a serious blockage that a normal plumb and snake just can't handle. Or it could even mean leaning into modern tech, like installing smart water shutoff valves that can actually prevent these disasters from happening in the first place. The whole service model is evolving right along with the technology. So where does all this lead? Well, this 24/7 pivot is really just the beginning. It's part of a much bigger transformation in how we manage and maintain the very places we live. The industry is already looking ahead. We're seeing trends like subscription models for emergency service, almost like an insurance policy for your pipes. We're also seeing the rise of remote diagnostics, where a technician could look at the problem through your phone's camera before they even head out. The whole game is shifting from being reactive to being way more preventative and efficient. And that really leaves us with a final big question. We subscribe to our entertainment, our software, even our coffee. Is peace of mind for our homes the next big subscription service? It's a fascinating thought, and it could completely redefine the relationship we have with the spaces we call home.